So this program is based on, my decade of working clinically with patients in my clinic. And so this is the exact protocol that I myself used on myself when I had SIBO, and then that I have since used on, literally thousands of patients in my own clinic about SIBO, helping them with SIBO. It's an all natural protocol, and I'll talk to you all about it here in just a second, but it really helped people get their lives back, and we're going to talk about that in a second. So as I mentioned, I myself was dealing with SIBO. And for those who don't know, I haven't gotten the question yet, but for those who don't know, SIBO is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. And I'll talk to you about, what that is and how that happens in a quick second. But SIBO is something that I discovered that I had, and it really was one of the root causes of my own autoimmunity. Many of you know that I had Graves' disease. And let's see, Kelly's asking about Zyfaxan. And so if my team could write down that question, I'll be sure to answer that here at the end. So I myself had SIBO, and once I've figured out my Graves' disease and, dug down into the root causes, SIBO was definitely one of the root causes. There's a SIBO leaky gut autoimmune connection. And I talk all about that, in the program as well, about, exactly how that happens and what that connection is. So super quickly, one of the things when I was putting together this presentation that I uncovered is that about 50% of the people who've been diagnosed with IBS, which is irritable bowel disease or irritable bowel syndrome, actually don't have IBS. They actually have SIBO. So there's new research out there showing that 50% of the people with IBS actually have SIBO. So if you have IBS, chances are you have SIBO. And IBS alone has been diagnosed with, in the US alone, 25 to 40 million people are dealing with IBS. So the SIBO breakthrough program and the protocol that's in the program is really based on 3 steps. And the 3 steps are let me just back up for those who don't know about SIBO. SIBO is an overgrowth of good bacteria. So most all of our good bacteria sits in our colon, but we have a little bit in our small intestines. It helps us to digest and absorb our food. So when you have SIBO, it's actually an overgrowth of this good bacteria. So it's really a case of too much of a good thing can be a bad thing. And so what we want to do is get that bacteria, even though it's good bacteria, back in balance. So we kind of want to starve a little bit of it off. So the first thing that I do, and one of the biggest ways you can get SIBO is through your diet. Eating lots of carbs is a way to get SIBO. There are other ways to get SIBO as well. Of course, antibiotics, medications like acid blocking meds, NSAIDs, things like that. So of course, we walk through all of that in the program. But the first step in breaking the vicious cycle with SIBO is to really starve the bacteria. And the first step in that is really eliminating the sugars, the alcohol, the carbs, even the good carbs. Now, I was a vegetarian for 27 years. And so I was eating brown rice, quinoa, legumes, tofu, thinking I was eating all of this healthy food. And for some people, it may be healthy, but those carbs break down, or those proteins and carbs break down further into sugars, and they do feed both the good and the bad bacteria. So step 1 is to eliminate those. And when we're dealing with the good carbs, we want to cut back to 2 cups a day. Step 2 is to prune back the bacteria. And I use a specialized supplement, all natural. It's a blend of herbs. It's called Microbiotics. And I have all the supplements here. I was supposed to do this Facebook Live at the office, but the last minute I changed to do it at my house, and I didn't have any of that. So we have this beautiful kit that it all comes in. Anyway, sorry that's at the office. I've got all the other supplements here, but I use a product called Microclear that helps to really prune back the bacteria. Somebody was asking about Zyfaxan. That's the #1 antibiotic that most people are being prescribed for SIBO. I myself have taken Zyfaxan. So the problem with Zyfaxan, besides it being an antibiotic, is it's super expensive. Most insurance companies don't pay for it. I've had people have to pay $600 to $1,000 out of pocket for 1 round of Zyfaxan. The other thing is, and we'll get it, that's because conventional medicine is really missing SIBO because they don't believe in the diagnosis, even though it's real. This is a relatively new diagnosis, so it takes like 18 years for things to get into, from the research into doctors' offices. So Zyfaxan also is more like a bomb going off in your gut, right? It's not sparing the good bacteria versus the bad bacteria versus the overgrowth. So, it can be like a bomb. So I've found that the herbs that I use, and I'm not just saying this, literally work equally as well, if not better. Some people, the herbs really work actually much better than the antibiotics. It's significantly cheaper. I mean, my entire program isn't even going to cost you $600. So it's significantly cheaper, and it more prunes back. It's much more gentle. So it's pruning back that good bacteria rather than having a bomb go off in your gut. And then step number 3 is to restore the balance in your gut. And restoring your balance, I use a special probiotic called Primal Earth. And Primal Earth is a probiotic that I formulated really especially for people with SIBO. So SIBO, again, is an overgrowth of good bacteria, so lactobacillus and bifidobacter. And so most probiotics, even the ones that I sell on my website, my probiotics, the 30 billion and 100 billion complete probiotics, are lactobacillus and bifidobacter as well. I mean, they're great bacteria. But if you have too much of a good thing, it can be a bad thing. So we don't want to feed the SIBO with the lactobacillus and the bifidobacter. So I created a soil-based probiotic specifically for people with SIBO. And this is really what I recommend to restore balance to your good bacteria. So again, this challenge comes with everything that you need to starve the overgrowth of the bacteria, protocols, exactly what to do, how to do it step by step. We literally, it's like me sitting in your house with you, telling you what to do. We give you the supplements, the Microclear to prune back the bacteria, and the good soil-based probiotic to help restore your gut's balance. So this is the first time I've ever offered this as a live challenge. So as I've already mentioned, you get a 30-day program with everything that you need. It's mapped out for 30 days, so there's absolutely no guesswork. Like having me sitting right there in your house with you, coaching you through exactly what to do. There are even special cases. I can see people already asking about histamine intolerance. What do you do if you have candida as well? What if you're FODMAPs? All those kinds of things. So we have figured all that out for you, how to, do travel. We have it all figured out for you, so that you can get your life back and you don't have to be worrying about all that. So we have 30 days full of recipes, meal plans, and all the shopping guides. The meal plans are amazing. We really tried to stick all the recipes to 5 ingredients or less so that they're super simple and quick to make, so that, you're not spending hours in the kitchen. And, your spouse and your kids, I mean, Javier and Elle eat just like this as well. So they're really going to love these meals as well. And so you're not going to be cooking 2 meals at once. Your kids and your husband are going to be coming back, wanting seconds because these meals are so good. Of course, all of the supplements that you need to treat SIBO are in there. So I'm providing you with the same high level of treatment as if you were sitting in my clinic. These are the same supplements that I used when I was treating my own SIBO. They're the same supplements that I've used with thousands of my patients. I already mentioned Microclear, which is a natural blend. It's an herbal formula. And I've already mentioned it's much more gentle than the antibiotics. It's natural, and it's pruning back rather than that bomb going off. And then, of course, the Primal Earth probiotics that I already mentioned to you, that are the soil-based probiotics that are really going to get through your small intestine and go straight to the colon, where it's going to start to balance things out, and it's not going to create more of a problem because it doesn't contain lactobacillus or bifidobacter. In addition, we include my secret weapon, which is coconut charcoal, which is comprised of millions of tiny pores that bind toxins, so that you can really gently flush out the overgrowth of bacteria from your system. I really want you to succeed, and so we've offered all the tools that you need in order to do that. And then we're super excited. We have these new fun, if you haven't seen them, I accidentally grabbed the collagen packets instead of the protein packets. So sorry about that. I grabbed the collagen packets. You don't get the collagen packets. You get the single serve packets of my vanilla paleo protein. So let me see what happens if I jump back and go grab those and what it looks like here. I have them on my shelf. So hang on. All right, you get 2 boxes of the vanilla paleo protein powder. So that's enough for 30 days of of the program. And they're these individual little packets. They're super cute, of my favorite supplement, which is the paleo protein powder and vanilla. So they come in these single serve packets, which is super fun. They're convenient. They're not messy. You know exactly how much to use in a smoothie. And of course, gluten-free, dairy-free, GMO-free, made from grass-fed beef. So I love this stuff. I literally, I need to get a video soon. I've been having Elle help me make a smoothie. We eat a smoothie almost every day, and she's been helping me, pour all the stuff in the smoothie. It's so cute. And she loves her smoothies too. So again, kids, husbands, wives, partners, everybody alike is gonna love the meals on this. So in addition, you get a 6-compartment pill or supplement keeper so that it keeps you organized and on track while you're on the go. It makes, everything a breeze so that you're never going to miss a dose. You're going to get supplement quizzes and progress trackers so that you can track your milestones and celebrate your successes along the way. And the most important part, or the best part, I think, of the live challenge is that we're all doing it together. Literally me, my registered dietitian, maybe even some people on my team. And in addition to that, they're going to be a private Facebook group. So not this Facebook group where I am right now. This is our main page. There's a private Facebook group for all the people going through the challenge. And then in the challenge, I offer 4 live Q&As with me so that you can, get the support of everybody else as you're going through this. And I'm on there answering your questions. I'm on there, offering you support. So if you're not available to be there during the Facebook Lives, you can send your questions ahead. We give you the ability to do that. If you can't be there for all of it, or you have something scheduled that day, we send out the transcripts of all the Facebook Lives afterwards. So the video will stay up in the group for the end of time, and then the transcripts get emailed out to you within 48 hours. So it's really great because, for me, one of the best parts of doing this challenge is getting to know you guys by being in the Facebook group, having a more personalized one-on-one with the ability to ask me questions in these Facebook Lives, but also just the level of support from all the other challengers. I mean, I really get goosebumps when I think about it. It's really incredible. I remember, I literally have goosebumps head to toe right now. We had, the last time we did this, of course, was a Candida challenge because we never offered this one before. And, somebody was going off to a wedding. Her daughter was getting married, and, she was so concerned about getting off track with the wedding. And I mean, literally, I don't know if you can see my goosebumps, but head to toe and goosebumps. I mean, the number of people that were rallying around this woman in support of her, even at her daughter's wedding. And then, to have her come back in, a couple days later after the wedding was over and she, had a chance to catch her breath, she jumped back in and she was just, glowing about how she had, really stayed on track with everything. And, it was all because of the support of all the other challengers. So that to me is one of the greatest gifts, of course, besides the Facebook Lives with me, where you get to ask, whatever questions you want of me regarding, SIBO and the challenge and things like that. So again, this is the first time we have ever offered the SIBO Breakthrough Challenge. It's the only one that we have scheduled for this year. The other part of what I really like about challenges, and there's actually studies to support this, is that you're twice as likely to succeed if you are doing something as a group. So, I mean, there's research out there showing it. And we found that, of course, to be true because you are getting so much support. You get, Dana is in the Facebook Lives or in the Facebook group, and I have some other team members that are in the Facebook group. They're monitoring it. They're, answering your questions. They're giving you links to things. They're offering support. You have the support of all the other challengers. And then, of course, you get those 4 live Q&As with me. And so, you're bound to be successful and to get your life back. I mean, that's, we have people who are dealing with issues like constipation, diarrhea, skin rashes, rosacea, Hashimoto's. There's a link that 50% of people with hypothyroidism have SIBO. 48 or 9% of people with rosacea have SIBO. So if you're dealing with any of these issues, the likelihood is that you do have SIBO, and we can help you. We can help you get your life back. You're not going to have those rashes, not going to have food intolerances, not going to be racing to the bathroom trying to figure out where is the bathroom next, or you're going to have a day of constipation, a day of diarrhea. What is going on for you? Now, if you're interested, we also offer an upgrade, which is called the gut repair upgrade. And that includes my absolute favorite product that I have every single day. In fact, you can't see it, but in this cup right here, I have our greens powder and some collagen and Leaky Gut Revive. This is my drink that I drink every day. So the Leaky Gut Revive is really my most comprehensive weapon for sealing a leaky gut. And, you know, SIBO can lead to leaky gut can lead to autoimmunity. So this has a lot of various, well, it has L-glutamine that helps rejuvenate the lining of your gut, and a lot of different aspects to it that help with the mucus in your gut and helping create that protective barrier in your gut. Of course, we have collagen, our little villi that they are mostly made up of collagen. So collagen is going to help kind of seal up those tight junctions and the leaks in the gut. And then digestive enzymes, which, that's what I get for doing all this at the last minute. I had a bottle, and as I was probably looking for the Microclear, I went and put it down somewhere. Oh, goodness. Sorry about that. So digestive enzymes, and the digestive enzymes really help to ease your digestive burden. So the standard challenge, where you get all the supplements that you need, you get all the support that you need to get your life back, is $3.99. The fast track upgrade that includes, of course, all of that plus all the supplements is $4.79. So we always offer a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if the program didn't work out for you for any reason, again, we have that no questions asked 30-day money-back guarantee. Now, remember, you have between now and Thursday, midnight Central Standard Time, to join us and to sign up for the challenge, because prep week begins the following Monday on October 1st. So if you are interested in joining the challenge with us, you can go to amymd.io/SIBO 2018 and sign up. I certainly look forward to seeing you. Now, a couple just housekeeping things before I get into your questions here in just a second. So we do recommend that, because, you know, we've opened up this ability to register, when was it? Last week. So people have already registered. They've already been getting their supplements. You're kind of at the end here, which is not a problem. But we do recommend that, particularly if you're waiting till the very last minute on Thursday, that you upgrade your shipping to 2 to 3 days shipping, just because of the number of people that are enrolling and, you know, the, you know, ability to get your supplements in time. So prep week begins Monday, October 1st. And then we actually start the supplements on October 8th. So we also built in a prep week, so it allows time for those last minute people who are, ordering at the last minute to get their supplements. And it also eases you into the diet, and, you know, if you're having any die-off issues or things like that. So, and then you always, because of the cost of this product, you get free shipping automatically with this product. Okay, so you may be wondering, how do you know SIBO your problem? There's certainly testing available out there. Most doctors don't test, though. We have a free quiz that you can take, and my team will post that below. If you score high enough on this quiz, it means you likely have SIBO. Just so you know, some things that I've already mentioned: 50% of the people who've been diagnosed with IBS actually have SIBO. Almost 50% of the people with rosacea have SIBO. There's new studies coming out that 50% of people with hypothyroidism have SIBO. So then, of course, if you're dealing with, some people have diarrhea, other people have constipation, other people have intermittent diarrhea and constipation, bloating. That person who says, my stomach was flat in the morning, by the end of the day, I look 6 months pregnant. That is what we call pathognomonic for SIBO. Gas, particularly foul-smelling gas, abdominal cramping, inflammatory bowel disease, digestion and absorption issues, chronic fatigue. I've had so many people come into my clinic with just chronic fatigue, and it ended up that SIBO was the cause, because, you know, SIBO can lead to vitamin deficiencies. Vitamin deficiencies can lead to fatigue issues. Skin issues, like I've already mentioned, rosacea and other inflammatory skin conditions. Histamine intolerance, I actually uncovered this myself. I was having random headaches and a faint skin rash. It would come and go. I couldn't really figure out what it was. Finally read something on histamine intolerance, figured that out. Number one cause for histamine intolerance, SIBO. So that's how I figured out my own SIBO, treated my SIBO, my histamine intolerance went away, was able to go back to eating all my foods that I love, like avocados and bacon. So, and then of course, if you have leaky gut, hypothyroidism, Hashimoto's, or any autoimmune condition, SIBO could likely be the underlying cause. So I'm going to take a sip now of my favorite drink, which again is, sorry that you can't see it, but isn't that the cutest cup? I got that for Mother's Day, along with my mama necklace. This is my absolute favorite thing. Might get a little teary-eyed here. My baby started saying mama the week of Mother's Day. So that in and of itself was the biggest gift. And then I got this sweet necklace and my cute mug in my favorite color. So sorry it's not in something that you can see, but I have greens powder, collagen powder, and Leaky Gut Revive. So I'm going to take a sip here, and then I'm going to jump into your questions. And looks like we already have tons of them. Okay. Kelly, I already kind of answered this question, but she asked about how the treatment that we offer compares to Zyfaxan. Zyfaxan is a prescription medication. It's a synthetic drug. It's an antibiotic. My experience is that most insurance doesn't cover it. It can cost between $600 and $1,000. And any kind of antibiotic, no matter how specific it is, and Zyfaxan is a bit more specific to your gut, but still like a bomb going off in your gut and, you know, killing a lot of things. The herbs that we use is a gentle form of natural herbs that kind of what we say prune back the bacteria. So you're not killing off all the good bacteria, you're just killing off the overgrowth of the good bacteria. Now, I literally have prescribed Zyfaxan for people. I've taken Zyfaxan myself, and sometimes it works really, really well. Other times the herbs honestly work better. I've taken the herbs before. There are people who will take rounds of Zyfaxan, not see any difference, and then we put them on the herbs and, you know, they do great. So I use these herbs all the time in my clinic, even though I can write a prescription for Zyfaxan. So Kim, is this program effective if I'm on steroids? So that's a great question, Kim. So steroids are something that are going to increase your, sorry, my team is writing something down. So so if you're on steroids, that's going to naturally sort of increase the sugars in your system. It, you know, causes an increase in your blood sugar, and also it can lead to leaky gut. So it's not super you know, the ideal would be to get off of steroids. Now, I deal with a lot of people with autoimmunity and they can't get off these things. And it's not until they treat their SIBO or they treat their candida or they treat, you know, whatever the underlying cause is that they can finally get that hold. So you're kind of in this pattern of, you might be in this pattern of you can't get off the steroids because you haven't ever treated the SIBO or the candida or whatever you might have going on with you. And so I would say that the program is not completely ineffective. In fact, it could be the foothold that you get to finally get off of your steroids, to finally heal your gut, to heal your leaky gut, to then, you know, if you're on steroids for autoimmunity or inflammation, put you back down that spectrum. But in an ideal world, we wouldn't be on steroids while we were doing it. So I can't answer the question. It is, I have had, let me put it this way, I've had many people do it on steroids in my clinic because it was the foothold that we needed, as I just mentioned to you, to finally get them off the steroids. Anna, I have fatigue, joint pain, and insomnia. Is that a side effect of SIBO? So many people can have a lot of different side effects of SIBO. Insomnia could be one, but it's not one that I typically hear of. Certainly joint pain or inflammation can be one. Fatigue can be. I've had people who just have chronic fatigue and that's their only symptom. So I'd highly recommend, Anna, that you take the quiz that my team is going to put the link for. It's a free quiz. And if you score high enough for SIBO, then, you know, that's the scoring system that we've come up to, you know, to believe that you are likely have SIBO and that you would benefit from the program. So Marion, does having SIBO cause low stomach acid? So having low stomach acid can cause SIBO, and I suppose it could be a chicken and the egg situation as well, but typically low stomach acid can actually cause SIBO because low stomach acid, one can lead to reflux, and then people go on acid blocking medications, which lowers their stomach acid even further. We need stomach acid to help us digest and absorb our food and to kill off infections. So low stomach acid can actually lead to SIBO. So Ida, I have histamine intolerance. Do you have other breakfast options in the program besides this protein smoothie? So Ida, you of course could do anything you want. We have guidelines of like what to eat, what not to eat. You can make up your own recipes. You could take a dinner or lunch recipe and eat it for breakfast. I will let you know that we do not get a lot of feedback from people that they have difficulty tolerating the paleo protein powder when they have histamine intolerance. So I've occasionally had it with the collagen powder, but I have really not had it with the protein powder. So I certainly would encourage you, if you decide to do the program, to give the smoothie a try and see if you tolerate it. I tolerated these fine when I personally had histamine intolerance. And again, you know, we have a 30-day money back guarantee, and we don't have people returning this when they have histamine intolerance. And typically, it is with my patients and things like that, they've been able to tolerate that. Now, everybody's an individual, but we typically do not have that be an issue. Okay, Carrie, can parasites trigger SIBO or have the same effect? Well, certainly anytime, you know, I like to think of our as our gut and in a microbiome, our microbiome as like a rainforest. So some people have parasites naturally, some people have yeast, some people have bad bacteria, some people even has viruses. And so hopefully that stuff is sitting in there in a nice balance. But when one gets out of balance, more things can overgrow. So if you have parasites that got your microbiome out of balance, that could, of course, lead to an imbalance that could lead to SIBO overgrowth. Now, my parasite treatment happens to be the Microclear that I used in SIBO as well. So you would be getting sort of, you know, killing two birds with one stone, if I'm saying that right. Wow, we have lots of questions. Okay, let me keep going. Okay, Molly, I've heard that a carnivore diet is the best approach to SIBO. Can you comment? So I'm assuming you mean a carnivore diet like the paleo diet. And so yes, Molly, that is exactly what we use in my program here for SIBO. And for those of you with autoimmunity, about 90% or more of the recipes are already naturally AIP and the Myers Way AIP approved. And the ones that are not, it's a simple thing, just, you know, take out the nuts out of the salad or, you know, whatever it is. So we make it very, very obvious for you how to tweak those final few recipes to be AIP, but they're all paleo approved. Okay. Tam, if I treat both SIBO and Candida with the supplements, but don't end up having it, will it cause a side effect from the supplements? So the supplements for Candida are caprylic acid, which is a natural acid that comes from coconut. And there are a lot of studies showing caprylic acid being used just to help with general wellness, viral issues, of course, Candida. So there are a lot of people who take caprylic acid just as a all natural, you know, antiviral, antifungal, overall health and wellness supplement. And then we have Candifense that is made up of some enzymes that helps digest the yeast cell wall. So again, in theory, if you don't have yeast, you know, then there wouldn't be anything there for, you know, it to digest. It's not like it digests your good bacteria cell wall. It's very specific to Candida, and that's Candifense. And so I don't know of any harm that would come if you didn't end up having it. Now, SIBO is something that is more like a natural antibiotic. There's various herbs in it, and you know, I use it for SIBO and I use it for parasites. So it is gently pruning back an overgrowth of bacteria. So if you didn't have this overgrowth of bacteria, there again are people who use it just to kind of get things in balance if they maybe have viruses or parasites or bad bacteria. So I have used this supplement in all kinds of situations. Could there be a situation where your, you know, gut was in perfect balance and then you took this herbal formula and you sort of killed off too much stuff? Yeah, I mean, that certainly in theory could be an issue. Most people out there don't have the perfect balance in their gut, but yes, I mean, in theory, for sure. Kim, is there lifetime access to the program? As long as we have the program, you have access to the program. Okay, Talia, she's been dealing with SIBO, he or she has been dealing with SIBO for 2 years, taken many antibiotics and seen no improvement. She's also been on the FADMAPS diet. She takes clay and charcoal for die-off. How is my challenge different than what she's been doing? So I find, same thing with Candida, that a lot of people are kind of doing these things piecemeal, doing the diet here, doing this supplement or doing that supplement, or taking this thing, but they're not doing it all together at one time. So one of the things that we offer is that everything that you need is in this program. So we have, the diet, which is step one, and we have the 2 supplements, the supplement to prune back, and then the supplement to re-inoculate. I'm not seeing in there that you're doing, like a soil-based probiotic for your SIBO, and I don't know what you're taking in terms of, sounds like you've taken some antibiotics, but I'm not seeing an herbal formula or anything to treat the SIBO. So what we offer is that we're doing all 3 of the 3 steps at one time. The other thing that we have to offer is all of the support. So it's a done for you program, and then you have our support. So we're there. And I don't want to get ahead of myself, but we do also offer very special pricing to see Dana for those more complex situations where people need a little one-on-one guidance. In fact, it's a huge savings, and it's something that we only offer inside of the challenges, because there are times where we just can't answer all the questions because they're very specific and they're frankly medical questions that isn't covered by my license to answer over the internet. So it allows an opportunity for you to meet with Dana at a very much reduced cost, in fact more than 50% off, so that you can do that. So Dana can help dive into that for you and see what you have or haven't been doing and how we could help you with that. Of course, if you don't want to do the challenge, you could always set up a appointment with Dana, my registered dietitian anyway, a wellness coaching session, and she could help dive into that and see if she could offer you some guidance. Okay, so Ida, can those dealing with adrenal fatigue participate in the challenge? Yes, in fact, many people who have these issues are dealing with adrenal fatigue. So my recommendation, it would be to, typically when I have a patient doing this, is to have them add in our adrenal supplement, our adrenal support supplement, to help with the adrenal fatigue as you're doing it as well, and to just, be gentle on yourself. Tina, how can you test to see how much good versus bad bacteria you have in your gut? So there's a couple of different ways. There is a stool test that, so that's sort of depends on what you're looking at. There's a very specific test for SIBO, which is a breath test, and that's the gold standard for SIBO. So that's looking specifically for SIBO, small bowel bacterial overgrowth. If you're just looking in your colon for good versus bad, I use a comprehensive stool test, and my team can put some links down there to test in your colon. That's not looking for SIBO though, that's just sort of looking. And then of course, there's biome, and my team can put a link for that as well, that will test your entire microbiome. So I recently did that test on myself and my husband and on Javier, and it was very interesting. So making some changes in supplements and diets myself to get that in more balance. Okay. So Wendy, how long can you stay on the herbal, I'm assuming the Microclear, and how long on the probiotic? So Wendy, some people just do much better on the Primal Earth probiotic. So I have people, I myself take, I don't currently have SIBO, so I currently take this because it's really helpful with autoimmunity as well. There's a whole theory that autoimmunity has come from us being too clean, and we really should be having soil-based organisms. So I take this and our regular probiotic every day. So there's, some people just do better on this probiotic, and so they take it every day, either in addition to the probiotic complete or in lieu of the probiotic complete. The herbal formula, the Microclear, on the other hand, we really don't want you taking it more than 60 days without, speaking to your physician or having an appointment with Dana or something like that, because it is a herbal formula, and it is like a natural antibiotic, so to speak. And so we'd really want to know, like, why were things not getting better, and just what's going on there. So the program is for 30 days. Some people may opt to do it for another month afterwards if they feel like they made some headway but didn't get completely resolved. But after 60 days, we definitely want you to check in with somebody. Okay, so Amity, would your program be okay if someone has beef as well as cow dairy allergy? So Amity, everything in my programs, all of my supplements, everything, they are all dairy free. Cow dairy, sheep dairy, goat dairy, every kind of dairy, they're all dairy free. So you don't need to worry about that. So if you have a beef allergy, our protein powder and our collagen, now the collagen is not part of the program unless you get the upgrade, but the beef protein is hydrolyzed beef protein is the base of the paleo protein smoothie. So I don't know if you just have a sensitivity as found on an IgG test or you have a true allergy. If you have a true allergy, then we'd want you to avoid that product. If you have a sensitivity, then you would just need to, work through that and see, are you having any symptoms or not from that. Okay, so Jamie, what markers would be indicative of SIBO on a GMAP test? So that's the thing, Jamie. GMAP is a type of comprehensive stool analysis, but that's all looking at your colon. So it's not really going to tell us about your small intestine. So you need to get that breath test, or there's my team can also post a blog that I did on SIBO about testing. And there is a urine test that is not perfect, but it gives you some indicators because it's looking at the upper gut or the small bowel. But all the stool tests out there that you're doing where you're literally collecting your stool, those are all testing your colon. They are not testing your small intestines. So the way to test your small intestines, the best way I would tell you to do is to do my free quiz and see if you get enough symptoms that it looks like you're positive. That's based on my decade of working with patients and what I hear them complaining of. Or going to your doctor and getting a SIBO breath test, or there is a functional test that you can do, which is a urine test that looks at metabolites of your upper gut. Okay, I'm going to move a little quicker because there are lots and lots of questions. Okay, so Jonah, how does gastroparesis alter the plan for SIBO? Is it the same plan? So gastroparesis in and of itself, because you are having a delay in your emptying, can actually create SIBO. So unless you have issues with gastroparesis in terms of not being able to swallow pills or something like that, the plan would not alter at all and you should be fine. I would imagine the smoothies go great with you. If you do collagen powder, that goes great with you. This is a powder. You could potentially open up the Primal Earth probiotic. The Microclear, you probably wouldn't want to open up because it's herbs and it might not taste so good. So as long as you're able to swallow pills and they get through your system and you're not, basically pooping pills, which I've certainly had people who have gastroparesis do, then you should be good. So, Sherry, how do I come back from the SIBO restrictive challenge? Is there a detailed guide available? Yes, Sherry, that's awesome. So at the end of the challenge, we have a gut health roadmap for you that tells you exactly how to transition back into real life again. So we have you covered. We've got it all covered. We have done these challenges before using my autoimmune solution program and using my Candida program. So we've gotten feedback from people already on other programs about things that they wanted and things that they needed. So we just automatically included them in this particular program. So hopefully we're ahead of the game. I mean, at the end, we always do feedback and ask you for feedback, and we take that all very seriously. So every time we do a challenge, again, this is the first one we've ever done with SIBO, but we've done a few with Candida. We get that feedback and we make changes and updates to the program every single time. So even if somebody's done one of my programs and they're doing it again, they're going to find that there are things different about it. Plus, we always have improvement. Last time we did the Candida challenge, we didn't have the handy dandy little individual packets. So this is something brand new. The time before that, when we did Candida, it was the first time we ever added paleo protein powder into the program because people were saying they wanted something easy and quick for breakfast. So even if you've done a program before, we're always changing them because something new has come along. I just launched this product, Leaky Gut Revive, couple months ago at the most. So this was not available the last time we did a Candida challenge. So we're always trying to, improve our challenges every time we do one. Okay. Courtney, as far as the challenge, is there any difference in the treatment for people who have methane dominant versus hydrogen dominant SIBO? So we found in my experience that the probiotics work, Microclear works really well for both types. I use this in my clinic and tested people before and after, and it seems to work really well. Now, we do cover the different types of SIBO and producing SIBO in the program. Okay, Kim, will this program work on pathogenic bacteria? That's a great question. So again, the herbs that I use do typically work on a lot of, and pathogenic for people who don't know, just kind of bad bacteria that can be, harmful to you. I can't promise you on every single type of bacteria, but in general, I have found, and this is based on, again, working with thousands of people in my clinic and doing testing on them before and after, that the herbs tend to work on parasites, various types of parasites, various types of different bacteria, bad bacteria, overgrowth of good bacteria, both the methane dominant and hydrogen dominant types of SIBO. So that's in my experience. Again, everybody is an individual, cannot promise or swear to anything, but generally speaking, I have done testing before, treated people, done testing after, and seen. In addition to, having the ability to use antibiotics and things like that in my clinic, often the herbs work better, but also there's just a lot less side effects. You're not killing off all your good bacteria. It's a little more gentle, or it's definitely more gentle. It can take longer. So I did use, some antibiotics in my clinic because people were dealing with things for so long. They wanted the, quick fix, the 1 week versus the 30 days. So, but I used plenty of this herbal formula in my clinic. It's a really, really great formula. Stephanie, can you heal, by healing SIBO, can you heal histamine intolerance? The number one cause that I see for histamine intolerance is SIBO. I myself had that situation. We have a product called Histazyme, which is DAO, which is the enzyme that you need to break down histamine. And when you have SIBO, it affects your ability to make this enzyme. So you typically have lower amount of the enzyme, plus the bacteria is sitting in your gut longer. And so the bacteria are breaking things down more slowly, and then it's creating more histamine. So it's kind of a double whammy. Anyway, when I had histamine intolerance and SIBO, I literally couldn't eat a meal without taking Histazyme, and I highly recommend it if you're dealing with it. I mean, it was, there are a few supplements that you're just like, wow, like boom, that made a difference. For me and for other people in my clinic, that was one of them. I literally could not eat like bacon, meat, avocado, of course, all the things I eat and love without taking this enzyme, or else I'd get headaches and a rash. And now, I treated my SIBO. I haven't had histamine intolerance since then. That was, 3 years ago or so that I had this. So, and I don't need to take DAO anymore. So DAO or the Histazyme can be expensive, but if you're dealing with that, it can be a real lifesaver for you. And know that it's temporary. As soon as you heal that SIBO, that histamine intolerance should go away. So Kim, how strong are the herbs? I'm extremely sensitive and have trouble detoxing. Will this program be too intense for me? So I can't speak to you personally, Kim. However, one of the reasons that we do this, prep week is to allow people to start to begin to detox. We do include the charcoal in there. If you really have problems detoxing, one thing that I typically will recommend that people add in is glutathione. It's the #1 detoxer in our body. It's super awesome. The way that you take the Microclear in the program is 1 pill twice a day. So if you're somebody who's sensitive, and what I recommend to my patients as well is that you probably want to just start off taking 1 pill, making sure you do okay. The next day, continuing to take 1 pill for a couple of days and then add in the second one, or even take 1, skip a day, ease yourself into it. So we address a lot of that in the program as well. We'll be there to support you in the Facebook group, on the Facebook Lives. You'll have the support of others. And then, of course, you can always set up an appointment with Dana as well if you need even extra special guidance just for yourself. So Sarah was diagnosed with Crohn's. She did the Myers way and saw great results. I have goosebumps. I'm so happy for you, Sarah, but she still has some bloating. Could that be SIBO? Absolutely. If so, do I just need to add in these supplements to what I'm already taking? Is the diet the same? So the diet is a bit different than the diet in my books. Now, in general, generally speaking, all of my programs are the same in the sense that there's not going to be grains, there's not going to be legumes. So we don't want you to do one program and then do another and be totally confused. So we're very consistent across my books, across my programs, in all the recipes and every article that I write. So you're good there. Now, in all my books, I also write about if you have candida or SIBO, how you want to limit those carbs. So I do cover that in the books if that's where you're getting this info. So in that sense, it would be pretty much the same. However, the program, of course, has all the recipes already. You're not having to cut out extra things because we've designed it just for SIBO. So that's one of the benefits of the program over the book, is that it is designed very specific for SIBO, versus the program is like designed up here for autoimmunity. And then if you have SIBO, you need to make modifications. So you wouldn't need to make any modifications to the dietary plan in the program. And I don't know what supplements you're taking, but of course, the 1, 2, 3 punch of killing SIBO is the diet, which you can do through the book and modify, or you can come do the program and it's already modified for you. And then there's the Microclear punch 1, and then punch 2 is the Primal Earth probiotic. So I hope that helps. And I'm so happy that you're already getting some. Oh, but back to the Crohn's. Yes, bloating definitely could be SIBO. So in Crohn's, I rarely see somebody that doesn't have Candida, doesn't have SIBO. So just in my experience in my clinic, those two things typically exist in people with Crohn's. Patty, with Hashimoto's, should we avoid charcoal as it may attach to the nature thyroid? So great question. So we address this in the program as well, because so many of my patients and followers are on supplemental thyroid hormone. So we address that. We have a cheat sheet in your little box. All these supplements come in a cute box, and they come with a little cheat sheet of exactly how to take your supplements versus your medications. So the charcoal, you are correct, could bind to your thyroid medication or hormone. And so you do want to take that at least an hour away from your nature thyroid. And we, again, address that in the program. Okay, let's see what else we have. I think I'm gonna have another sip of water. Okay, Chris, does SIBO ever go away, or is it with you for life? How do you know if it's gone? Does SIBO have any connection with your liver? So Chris, yes, SIBO can go away for sure. Now, there are, people who have weak links places. And so, could you get it again? Potentially. Things that contribute to SIBO are stress, dietary changes, eating a bunch of carbs, alcohol, sugar, medications. Let's say that you get rid of your SIBO and then you sprain your ankle and you have to go on Motrin because, there's nothing else, or I don't know, for some reason you got to go on Motrin, and, or you had a surgery and, it's really painful and you went on Motrin and then you get SIBO again. So life is a continuum. So I can't tell you it will never come back. Some people are more predisposed. Other people goes away, never comes back. I personally, I've had it twice and gotten rid of it twice, and knock on wood, knock somewhere, I've been SIBO free for several years, which is super exciting. So could it do with your liver? Well, liver, does help us detoxify. If you have more toxins sitting in your gut, yeah, it can contribute. I don't see it as like the #1 cause. In my webinar that I talk about, I have 6 causes, and that's not one of them. Is there some connection? Yeah, we're all interconnected. But the bottom line is, we also in that roadmap talk to you about how to keep SIBO from coming back. And then we also even have some information about if SIBO does keep coming back for you, where else to look and what are other underlying root causes to be alerted to as to why it could be coming back for you. Okay. Symptoms, Rose, symptoms for SIBO are similar to other illnesses. These symptoms for illnesses seem also similar. How can I tell which illness you have, since symptoms are the same in categories like thyroid, adrenal, candida, parasite? So Rose, I'd really recommend, if you're really struggling with this, you can go to your doctor, see if they'll do the breath test for you. Typically that's a GI doctor you'd need to go to. You'd need to have a lot of symptoms. I don't see them testing for this, even when people have a lot of symptoms, very often. So I would do the checklist. My team is going to put a free quiz there for you, and you can do the free quiz we'll put one for Candida and one for SIBO there. And everything is interconnected. Thyroid, I talk about this in the webinar too. Thyroid, if you're hypothyroid, can slow down your digestion, leading to your food sitting there longer, leading to SIBO. And likewise, SIBO can lead to leaky gut, which can lead to autoimmunity and thyroid illnesses. So there is a lot of chicken and egg here. And so the body is all interconnected. So I would recommend doing the quiz. Kay, are all your products non-GMO? Yes, they are. Rose, I have fatigue and find it hard to cook. Do you think the program would work if diet isn't followed completely? Also, I had mold poisoning several years ago. Does this help with healing from mold damage? So Rose, I'm sorry to hear all of that. So we are very cognizant whenever we write a recipe, a program, all those things, that many people who are needing to follow these programs are also dealing with fatigue. They're dealing with candida and brain fog. They're dealing with autoimmunity and maybe a painful condition, maybe a debilitating condition where they can't get around well enough. So that's why we try to make it super easy for things like, you know, the smoothies. I mean, you can literally put this in water if you want and drink it. It certainly is far more delicious if you can put it in a blender and, you know, get some coconut milk and some fruit or vegetables in there, but it can be mixed just with water. I'm drinking, you know, these two things just in my regular water. So we try to make this, you know, all the recipes are not all, but most all recipes are 5 ingredients or less, trying to utilize leftovers, things like that. But yes, if you don't want to follow it completely, as long as you'll have a list of foods you can enjoy and foods to avoid, and as long as you're avoiding the foods that you're supposed to avoid and only enjoying the ones you're supposed to enjoy, then yes, you don't have to follow the recipes or the meal plan 100%. You know, there are people who love to just like tell me exactly what to do and I'm going to do it. And this is designed for those people. And there's also people like me. I actually would really have a hard time following a program. I know it's kind of crazy because I have so many programs and I've written books with programs, but I would be my worst patient because I like kind of doing my own thing. I mean, I like kind of knowing I can't eat these foods, so I don't eat them, and I can eat these foods, and then I can kind of do whatever I want with these foods. So whatever kind of person you are, all the books, all the programs, you know, this will work for you. I'm sorry to hear about your mold poisoning issue. We do use the charcoal to help detox, and then I typically use glutathione. Those are my 2 biggest guns for helping with mold. Okay, Natalie. Okay, so Microclear, as she mentioned, has berberine and wormwood. Is it okay to take oil of oregano and thyme in conjunction? So oil of oregano and thyme, but mostly oil of oregano, is a really great herb because will kill so many things. I mean, it's awesome. But the downside of it is it kills so many things. So I don't actually carry oil of oregano in my store because I like to kind of treat things as specific as possible. For candida, I like to use those 2 that I mentioned, the caprylic acid that comes from coconut and the candifence that comes that has the enzymes to break down the yeast cell wall, because it's very specific to the yeast. Now, Microclear is not super specific, but it's far more gentle than oil of oregano. So, you know, oil of oregano can be much more like those antibiotics where it can like, boom, put this bomb in there. So my recommendation for people in general is to hold off on those things and to really just do the Microclear and to do the program as we recommend the program. So, I mean, I've literally worked with thousands of patients. I've been doing this in my own clinic for over 10 years, for over a decade, and I know that this works. So this is where, you know, not for everybody, but for most people, this is really going to be all you're going to need. Now, there are going to be special cases, and that's why we have a special offer with Dana inside the program, why we offer the additional support with the challenge. And so, you know, if you need to move to a bigger gun, then you could have that conversation with somebody, but it's not the place that I like to start. Laura, will this program work for someone who's a vegan or a vegetarian? How do you make sure that the SIBO doesn't return? So I'm going to be super honest with you, Laura. I was vegetarian for 27 years and I'm vegan for part of that time. And as I mentioned, you know, you're getting likely your proteins from grains and legumes. So you're getting them from quinoa and brown rice and beans. And these ultimately are carbs, and they ultimately get broken down into sugars much more quickly than, say, you know, protein powder. And so it is difficult for somebody who's on a vegan or a vegetarian diet to do the program. I'm not saying you can't. It's just, I would be very concerned, are you getting enough protein? Because we have you limit the amount of grains and legumes that you can eat during the program. So it's certainly not ideal. I'm not going to tell you that you can't. And also I have people who are vegetarians or even vegans, but, you know, some of them are willing to do collagen, other ones aren't. So it kind of also, you know, depends on where you are in that spectrum. And I would, you know, say that if you're having SIBO and you feel like it is returning, like you're sort of alluding to here, that maybe it's from, you know, eating a vegetarian or a vegan diet. And I'm certainly not against anybody. I myself was one for 27 years, so I get it. I'm just being super honest about, sort of the reality of likely what you're eating and what feeds SIBO. Okay, Ida would like to know, can she take the histozyme while doing the challenge? Absolutely, someone can. Chris, are all fruits okay to eat with SIBO? Chris, we limit the amount of fruits and we really stick with things like berries that have less sugar in them than say something like a banana or a mango or things like that. So some fruit is off limits while you're treating SIBO. Okay, Margaret would like to know how similar or different is the challenge to the Candida protocol. So, so first of all, remember, we have a Candida program up on the website at all times. Once a year, we do a Candida challenge, and this is the first time we're offering the SIBO, and we're offering it as a challenge, and then we'll launch it as a program later. So if you're not interested in doing the challenge, you can come back and do the program at any time. But of course, you won't get the free, the Facebook group and the Facebook Lives and all the support of, all of the other challengers and me and my team. And you won't be doing it all at the same time. Now, the diets are somewhat similar because the first step in treating Candida and SIBO is to starve them, and they both feed off of carbs. So the diets are, virtually the same. The protocol, though, the 1-2 punch that comes afterwards is different. So in Candida, and I don't, those supplements are back there in my pantry. Those supplements are caprylic acid and can defense, or your 1 punch. And then the second punch is to re-inoculate with my 100 billion probiotic. And the 100 billion probiotic is lactobacillus and bifidobacter. So you would not want to take that while you're trying to treat Candida. While you're trying to treat SIBO. SIBO, of course, has Microclear, and then it has the soil-based probiotic. So we do tell you exactly how to treat them both if you wish to treat them both while doing this program. So we recommend that you do the Microclear. You can add in the Can Defense and the caprylic acid, and then do the Primal Earth probiotic. Hold on the complete probiotic. When you're done with the program or done with the 30 days, then you can add in the complete probiotic. We walk you through that in the program because so many people, about 50% of people who have Candida also have SIBO and vice versa. So you can do the programs together. So I'm going to just answer a couple more questions here because we're a bit over time. So Kate would like to know, can we use all flavors of paleo protein powder on the SIBO protocol or just the vanilla? So you are welcome to use any flavor that you'd like. Have a great day, everybody. I will chat with you soon. Bye.